Welcome back to the channel. Racer X here, and today I wanted to put a short video for you together about the 2024 E-Ray, because just this morning Chevy released all of the details, at least most of the details, on their 2024 E-Ray, and as predicted, it is going to be awesome. I kind of had a video about this a little while back. I talked about everything that I thought it could be, what I most likely thought it would be, and well, the details are out. So today we're going to talk a little bit about it. If you're brand new to my channel, please do me a big gigantic favor, hit subscribe in the corner. I would really appreciate it. I have lots of really cool stuff planned for the rest of this year. Should be a ton of fun, and off we go.
T-minus 15 seconds.
So back about 8-10 months ago, they released all of the specs for the 2023 Z06, which we're just now starting to see hit the roads out there. Almost an impossible car to get, and yes, it is awesome. 670 horsepower, flat plane crank, 5.5 liter V8, one of the nastiest V8s on the market, probably the nastiest naturally aspirated V8 on the market, an exceptional car. The price of those things is just nuts. And when I heard Chevy announce that for 2024, they were going to be bringing out a hybrid E-Ray, so to speak.
It uses electrification to deliver intense straight line performance, all-weather confidence, and sure-footed touring capabilities. The E-Ray was developed to be the Corvette that owners can drive anywhere.
At first, it didn't really get my attention, but as I thought about it more, I've driven enough of these hybrids and electric cars to know that even if the E-Ray didn't make quite as much horsepower as the Z06, it was still going to be very formidable. And in terms of performance, it may actually be faster. And it turns out today, I was right. The E-Ray will be the quickest Corvette ever made, including the just announced Z06. So yes, it is going to be very impressive, just as I thought, and the stats are in. Now, I don't want to toot my horn too much, but I actually got just about everything about the E-Ray right, with the exception of really one thing: how much power the electric motor driving the front wheels actually made. It actually made more power than I thought it was going to. So the E-Ray stats came out, and there are many, 655 total horsepower. So it does still retain that LT2 engine that you get in the base Corvette behind you. However, you get a single electric motor putting out 160 horsepower and an additional 125 pound-feet of torque, but that is basically at 0 RPM, where that torque comes on to make the E-Ray the quickest production Corvette ever made.
It's the first time we've ever done an all-wheel drive Corvette, but that all-wheel drive, that torque capacity and capability come with some blistering performance. So it also happens to be the quickest Corvette ever. 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds and a quarter mile in 10.5 seconds. So it's got some outstanding performance. 2.5
seconds, 0 to 60 in a 10.5 second quarter mile. Now that is really impressive. As I mentioned in one of my other videos, it doesn't necessarily have to make more horsepower than the Z06 to be faster, because electric horsepower just doesn't equate the same way. I've driven enough of these things to know, and it's really weird how that works. But look at the torque number, right? The Z06, 460. This car makes almost 600 pound-feet of torque, and it makes it really fast. So that is the difference, right? I mean, you get exceptional quarter mile time, exceptional 0 to 60 time on this car. A very impressive deal indeed. Now, some other key things that they revealed about the E-Ray Corvette. We're not going to see these really until the end of 2023, most likely. We don't actually know when we can put the orders in for it. They were a little obtuse about that particular thing. However, $104,000 is the starting price on this. They claim the Z06 starts at $106. Yeah, right, it really doesn't. But this one is actually just slightly less expensive than the Corvette Z06, yet this one is all-wheel drive. It does also retain kind of that same wide body stance that the Z06 has. Matter of fact, the tires are 275 in the front, which is more than enough for those electric motors to kind of do their thing. And then of course you get the monster 345s in the rear.
More importantly, we're delivering torque in this massive tire contact patch. 275 millimeter front tire, 345 millimeter rear tire. All that grip, all that torque results in that outstanding straight line performance.
So you really do get the best of both worlds in this car when you think about all-wheel drive, so you're not going to be spinning basically at all, which is the crazy thing, right? I mean, 2.5 seconds 0 to 60 time, and that is on the street that this thing can do it. And it is in a much more streetable platform than the Z06 because it is all-wheel drive, so if you have inclement weather like rain or snow even, they said they've driven this thing in like 4 inches of snow and it handles great.
For the first time ever, I think a Corvette has really become practical in four-season driving. We've driven this car in places I never thought we would drive Corvettes. Inches of snow, on grades, in those kind of conditions, and the car is absolutely outstanding.
Imagine a Corvette handling great in the snow. Well, this is the one, the first all-wheel drive Corvette ever made, and it is really an exceptional vehicle. Now, another cool thing, and I predicted this, they do have stealth mode on this car. While no, this is not a brand new technology, I kind of figured with a hybrid, you would want something like this anyway, and we've seen it on other cars.
Yeah, stealth mode is really cool. So for the first time, you can operate a Corvette in a pure electric mode. So you can drive a Corvette without the thundering small block running. And we use the battery to allow this pure electric driving experience for speeds up to about 45 miles an hour for a range of 3 to 4 miles. Depending on driving conditions. A common use case would be people exiting their neighborhood, say leaving early in the morning.
But you do have the ability to kind of back this car out, run around the neighborhood, all that kind of stuff. I think they said 4 miles of total range, but under full electric power up to 40 miles an hour. So for those of you guys that might have an infant at home or a grumpy neighbor, I would say that this feature of this car actually could be a really neat thing, maybe a little bit gimmicky, but stealth mode, no other Corvette has had it. Now, another thing I think that is pretty cool about the E-Ray is the fact that standard, it gets the big carbon ceramic brakes. So this thing will have a ton of bite. And they also go on to talk about the fact that the car actually captures and reuses a lot of the power.
For the first time in Corvette, we're using electrification to capture and store energy and then redeploy that in a way that enhances vehicle performance.
I mean, we initially saw that back in the day with, say, like the P1 McLaren or perhaps the Porsche 918. And of course, we know how much those things cost. And as I expected, it sort of has trickled down to less expensive cars, if you want to call this less, which it is. It's still not a cheap car, but you're starting to see the big time technology creep down into cars that aren't nearly in that $1 million range. So at least we're making some progress there. But this E-Ray will be a very, very capable car. Like I said, quickest production Corvette ever made, even though it makes less power than the Z06, 1.1 lateral G's on the skid pad. Not too bad. So that really begs the question, is the E-Ray better than the Z06? Well, I would argue that for the everyday driver, the guy that isn't looking for a track-focused car, maybe it is. Yes, for the gearhead like me who wants to go to the insane, 1,000+ horsepower, twin turbo, all sorts of stuff. I love the Z06, and a lot of us know what happened when I tried to order the Z06 with the crazy price that they were asking me to pay over MSRP, which I never signed up for. And, it was a big fiasco. Many of you guys know the story, but I was a little bit sore at GM over that. But who knows? Maybe I should make a play for the E-Ray because in terms of just everyday driving ability and being just as fast, if not faster, the E-Ray is all of that. Now, will it be just as hard to get a hold of? That remains to be seen. I know the Z06s, they're saying they have like 5 to 6 year wait lists now on the Z06. And we're talking about a car that could sticker upwards of like $170,000 before any sort of additional markup. So will we see the same kind of thing on the E-Ray in terms of markups and all that kind of stuff? Well, the answer is probably yes. Dealerships are going to gouge people on the E-Ray just like they did on the Z06 unless they're able to produce significantly more. But this being a hybrid, first year run, all that kind of stuff, I wouldn't hold my breath. We'll put it that way. Well, guys, that is about all I had for you on this one. I just wanted to kind of give you the specs and share my thoughts on the E-Ray now that they've officially revealed to us everything that this thing is going to do. It is going to be a very cool car. I know not everybody is into the hybrid thing, but it really is the best of both worlds. You get all that nasty acceleration, that instant torque from those electric motors, plus you still get that Really beautiful V8 just burbling behind your head there. It's a really nice blend of technology, and I'm pretty excited about it. I'd like to know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I will catch you on the next one. So until then, Racer X.